Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Temple Sinai in Delray Beach, Florida. Our last Erev Shabbat service for this year of challenges for all of us. We're very grateful that you've joined us here in the sanctuary, and also very grateful for many of you who will be tuning in to virtual Temple Sinai through our YouTube channel. On behalf of our clergy and our Board of Trustees, I want to wish everyone good health as we look ahead to a year of greater comfort than we've experienced the past many months as we look over our shoulders. I encourage you to do the best you can when you wake up each morning and remain as safe and healthy with regard to your choices in the days ahead. Our Erev Shabbat service this evening will be led by our Rabbi Aviva Bass. It will be a short service for many reasons, some of which Rabbi will explain in a moment. And we look forward to seeing you 1 week from tonight, again, for Erev Shabbat as we look ahead with hope in our hearts and minds. I'm Lynn Weinstein, co-president of our congregation, along with Betty Adams, who will be speaking with you a little later in our service, and look forward to seeing our sanctuary with many more faces in it as we look ahead. Rabbi?
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Aviva Bass, and I am normally accompanied here by our student cantor, Dan Geigerman. Unfortunately, today he tested positive for COVID. He is non-symptomatic. He just routinely tests, and today he happened to test positive. So in all of our caution and abundance of caution, we are not having him here with us this evening. And as a result, also, we have decided to cancel tomorrow morning's service. Usually we have a Shabbat morning service, but we are not having one for the new year tomorrow morning. So sleep in after tonight. Okay, let's start with a song. Page 128, Ma Yafeh Hayom, how wonderful today is. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And now to light our Shabbat candles, I'm going to invite Sue Wexler to please come up and on page 120 and 121, we follow along as she says the prayers and lights the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own days be among those who kindle light.
Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sue. Okay. We continue with the Kiddush, and we join on page 122 to 123. Vayhi Erev vayivokei yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam, vaychal Elohim bayom hashvi, malachto asher asa, vayishpot bayom hashvi, mikol melachto asher asa, vayvarech Elohim et yom hashvi, vaykadesh oto, ki vo shavot mikol melachto, ki vo shavot mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim, asher bara Elohim lasot, savri lechaim, baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Amen. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikrah kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We continue now with L'chadodi on page 138, and we're going to do a melody that's a quick one that doesn't go to all of the verses, so that we will just rise afterwards for the Baruch Hu together. But page 138, we begin with L'chadodi. L'chadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabla, Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabla, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. We turn now to page 146 and we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Please take a seat. Let's continue reading together on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Please join me on page 150 as we chant Ahavat Olam together. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shachbeinu u'v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha
ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו Yisrael.
We rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Avad.
Please take a seat. As we continue on page 155 with this beautiful interpretation of the Ve'ahavta, please join me. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
On the bottom of page 157, we read, "Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea." The Michamocha, page 158.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ay la 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 la, ya la 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 bim bam, ay la 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 la, ya la 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 bim bam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot osefel, nora tehilot osefel, malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, ze lianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, yai bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye 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 bim bam, yai bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye 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 bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya bye 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 bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya bye 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 bim bam. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 161, we will read in a moment a prayer that is the translation of the Hashkivenu. And the Hashkivenu is a prayer that is meant to ask for God's sheltering presence in places that need it the most. Tonight, I think particularly of those in and around Boulder, Colorado, who have been fleeing, evacuating their homes because of the fires there. Some of you may know I spent a year there working and living there, and in actually the town where a lot of these fires are, Louisville, which is right near Boulder. So many of my colleagues and friends are out there, and I am thinking of them, and I'm sending them prayers for rain, water, and for shelter for those who have had to evacuate. So I send my thoughts there, and I invite you to send your thoughts and prayers wherever you feel that it is needed the most. Page 161, we read together at the bottom of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen. In a moment, we will pray the tefillah and begin together on pages 164, and then the even number pages, through page 170. And then we'll go into a moment of silent prayer and meditation. And as we think about the ending of this secular year of 2021, many of us probably are thinking of some negative things we'd like to get rid of, but also hopefully some positive things we want to hang on to. And maybe some of those negatives in our own lives are things from which we can learn something. Often we don't know what that something is, what that lesson is, until well after. But let's take a moment during that meditation to think about the things we want to just leave behind in 2021 and the things we want to take with us. What lessons we have learned, what wonderful moments we want to cherish and remember forever, perhaps. So we begin together on page 164, and we rise for tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevig Ula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh ha'kol atarav le'hoshia. Mashiv ha'ruach u'morid ha'gashem. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye,
ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמנת לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. עושה שלום במרמיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen.
We come to the part of our service when we think of those who are in need of healing. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to our student cantor, Dan Geigerman, and may he continue to have no symptoms from COVID. And we think of those who are near and far, who are ill with COVID or with any other illness, or any illness or sickness of mind, body, or spirit. And here I have a list of names I'm going to look at while we pray this prayer, but I'd like to ask if you have a name or names of those you are thinking of who are in need of healing currently, that as I open my arms, those who are worshiping from afar are angels of the internet, and as well as our angels in this room. Please say the names of those you are thinking of at this time. So for all of those whom we have named, as well as those good people around the world who are in need of such healing, we sing this healing, Mishaberach, by Debbie Friedman. If you need the words, they are found on page 371. Mishaberach avotenu bekor havracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach
kor habracha leimotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This week's Torah portion is Parshat Va'era, not to be confused with Parshat Vayera, which sounds very similar. This is Parshat Va'era in the book of Shmot in Exodus. And this week's Torah portion, Va'era, ends in the middle of the plagues visited on the Egyptians when Pharaoh refuses to let the Hebrew slaves go. We're all familiar with them because we usually dip a finger in the wine glass if we're from Ashkenazic backgrounds during our Seder, and we say these. So they have just endured the plagues of blood, frogs, lice, wild animals, cattle disease, boils, and hail. But Pharaoh's heart remains hardened, and he will not let the Hebrews go. And so we will read in next week's portion, Parshat Bo, that God brings the final plagues of locusts, darkness, and the slaying of the firstborn sons of Egypt. We can only imagine what it may have felt like for the common Egyptian in the midst of these plagues, and how terrifying it was, feeling that each plague had finally ended and there was some respite, then only to find that, as a result of Pharaoh's stubbornness to refuse to free the Hebrew slaves, there was another plague just around the corner. While admittedly this is not exactly analogous, we can relate to the feeling of despair resulting from thinking that the plague of COVID is finally over, from coming back to a somewhat normal life last summer. You may remember in June or July that some of us were unmasking and gathering with others again, only to find that a new variant of the plague, the Delta virus, had begun to rear its ugly head. And then that variant was subsiding and things were getting better, and now the Omicron virus is hitting us and beginning to raise COVID numbers here in Palm Beach County as well as around the country and around the world. But as we begin to round the corner on the secular new year and ring in 2022 tonight, let us look back upon the progress we've made here at Temple Sinai, because we've not taken any steps backward or even stayed where we are these last 2 years. We've actually continued moving ourselves into the future. In late spring last year, you remember that our cantorial soloist at the time informed us that he was not renewing his contract to continue here at Temple Sinai. And it was very sad news at the time. And many members of the congregation worried about the music and how it would continue with the excellence that we've come to expect here and that we had with him. Yet through the amazing efforts of the cantorial search committee, we gained a fabulous new asset to our congregation, our part-time student cantor, Dan Geigerman, whose beautiful baritone voice and lovely personality and fantastic skill set have already been a great addition as my clergy partner, my Bima partner here. And so far, he and I are working harmoniously together, in both senses of the word, to create beautiful musical expressions to our liturgy. And last spring, we also received the sad news that our longtime accompanist was not continuing here at Temple Sinai. And through connections that I built in the musical and cantorial community, I found us a fabulous piano and organ accompanist, Dr. David McFarland, who is absent tonight, but not because he's sick. This was a planned vacation night. He is not only a great musician, but also happens to possess a tremendous repertoire of Reform liturgical music and a grasp of our services, despite his own Protestant Christian background. due to the fact that he's served many Reformed Jewish congregations as an accompanist for several years. Together, these two additions to our staff here at Temple Sinai have helped to ensure that the strong, beautiful musical tradition at Temple Sinai continues. Personally, I don't think that the music has ever sounded more beautiful, and there's never been more congregational participation in our singing. We can't hear very much of it tonight, but usually you'll hear a lot of participation, and it's really lovely to hear. And I know that those who are worshiping from afar are also enjoying the music, and I hope that you're singing with us as well. As we prepare to enter the new year of 2022, we also look forward to other synagogue programming continuing. And we've already begun bingo night every Wednesday once again, and we'll soon have our duplicate bridge game up and running 6 days a week again. In addition to our Sundays at Sinai adult educational programming, we're also planning new classes run by myself and student Cantor Dan, as well as exciting concerts like the one in a couple of weeks from now, and the Spanish River concert series coming soon as well. That's not here, but you can pick up tickets through us, and it is a Temple Sinai fundraiser to go to those Spanish River concerts. Perhaps most importantly, one positive outcome of this time of COVID are our virtual and hybrid services that you're partaking in right now, enabling those in our congregation who are homebound to participate fully in our worship, education, meetings, and other events. Now, congregants who are no longer comfortable to drive at night and do not have a ride here, and those who are ill at home or even in the hospital, can tune into our services and worship with us. And that's brought a lot of support emotionally and spiritually to those who didn't have it from us before because they simply could not get here. And we are so glad to be able to include everyone who wishes to pray with our congregation. We continue to learn and to grow and redefine what community means in the world today. So as we enter this new secular year of 2022, may we do so with gratitude. May we see ourselves not as continually plagued, but rather as continually blessed and constantly growing and learning. And may this new year bring us all increased health and optimism as we look ahead to better times. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year. And now I'd like to invite Betty Adams, our co-president, who has a few brief announcements for us.
Can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, great. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Betty Adams, co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein, and thank you, Rabbi, for doing a great job leading the service solo tonight. We would like to thank the following sponsors. Tonight's Erev Shabbat service is sponsored by Estelle Morgenstein in memory of her beloved husband, Saul Morgenstein, Marcy Anshin and Larry Oken in memory of Larry's mother, Ida Oken, Pam Nadler and Mark Sickles in memory of Lee Abraham. The following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Barbara Strassman in memory of her beloved mother, Gertrude Gruberg. And our Saturday, January 1st Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Rebecca Lippman in memory of her beloved father, Harry Abramowitz. Just want to remind everybody, I believe Rabbi may have said this, but there will not be Shabbat morning services this week only. That's a kind of a last-minute change, and we want to make sure the word gets out. However, there definitely will be Torah study on Zoom, as it has been for a while, at 12:30 tomorrow. It is on. And let me just go through a few things that Rabbi did touch on. We are having a concert on January 15th, Saturday night, with the renditions of South Florida. They're a wonderful group. They do a cappella, doo-wop, rock and roll, all kinds of great stuff. Tickets are still on sale. not tonight in the temple, but you can call the temple office, 561-276-6161, and leave a message on extension 128. You will get a call back to select your seats. And also the Spanish River Concert Series tickets. Again, those concerts are not here, but we are selling the tickets, and it's a fundraiser. And you can call that same number, 561-276-6161, extension 114. Same thing, leave a message, and one of the wonderful co-chairs will get back with you and help you select your seats for that. I believe that's all I have to say. Lynn usually has something else, but okay, there is an adult ed lecture on Zoom only on January 16th. And you will be looking, it's the Murakami, I believe it's Japanese culture versus Chinese culture. And again, it is on Zoom only. You can look on our website for information on that, and you will probably be getting, emails on that. And that's also a wonderful thing coming up. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Betty. We do have one more announcement, but this is a religious announcement of Rosh Chodesh that is coming. So it is traditional that we rise for this announcement, and we're going to go directly from this into the Aleinu. We're not opening the Ark quite yet, but we will open the Ark in a moment for the Aleinu, directly following this announcement. So page 519 is the Rosh Chodesh announcement.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova v'livracha, v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, Chaim shaparnasa, Chaim shetehevanu, ahavat Torah, ve'yirat shamayim, Chaim sheyimalu, mishalot libenu, letova. Amen.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month of Shvat bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Shvat Yeh Bayom Sheni. The new month of Shvat will begin on Monday, Sunday night Monday. And we remain standing as we turn to page 586, and the Ark is opened for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. At this time, we recall those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing, are commemorated at this time. Those whose names are illuminated on the plaques surrounding the sanctuary: Harry Abramowitz, Rose G. Altman, Celia Levine Bronstein, Herbert Chandler, Dr. Joseph J. Cohen, Morris Friedman, Milton Garin, Paula Kasner, Alan E. Kosh, Arlene Levine, Anne Lepschitz, Charlotte Sackler, Horace Saunders, Jenny Schwartz, Pauline Solomon, Myrna Spunt, and Milton Warshaw. Others recalled at this time: Gladys Abraham, Gertrude Bunkin, Molly Bunzel, Philip Carter, Stephanie Fallis, Elsie Friedman, Martin Gable, Jack Gerstein, Arthur Golden, Ruth Greenberg, Gertrude Gruberg, Marilyn Heller, Saul Morgenstein, Charlotte Nelson, Ida Oken, Ella Reiner, Joseph Robert, Blossom Shaw, Sandra Tobias, Monty Warren, and Saul Zantz. Those whose deaths are more recent, whose families are still commemorating the Shloshim period, the first 30 days since the funeral: Milton Sterren, Lee Abraham, Teddy Wasserman, and Mitchell Lubitz. If you are recalling someone whom I have not named, if you are here in the sanctuary, I'm going to gesture around the room and please say their name. If you are joining us from afar, please say their names aloud now. So for all of those whom I have named, as well as all of those who were murdered in the Shoah, we rise in solidarity with mourners everywhere as we recite the Mourner's Chodesh on page 598, 598. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehe shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei kudesha barichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shalom araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn among us. And let us all say, amen. Please take a seat. And before I conclude with our closing song, I do want to remind everyone to please be responsible this evening. Even if you are not a drinker, if you are driving tonight, there are others who are, unfortunately. So please, please be careful driving, getting to and from your destinations tonight. That's actually why we had this earlier evening service. So please be careful. If you are drinking, drink responsibly, and please do not drive. Page 626, 626, we conclude with Ein Kelohenu.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kimalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Imalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year. Shabbat Shalom. Under an hour, so that's good.
Safe drive on the multi-highway. Yeah, that has always been a terror road over the years.
Well, actually, I'm not doing the Turnpike. I'm just going up 441.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
For years, when
On
I first
441?
moved to
Really?
this part of the community, it's just people are careless. So, yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
there.
I will.